Lost inside the hallway shadows, no one ever said my name. Just a girl with borrowed textbooks in a rich girl's perfect game. I was safe in being nothing. Invisible was my art, till the day you walked in smiling, and you looked straight at my heart. You called me blonde, pumpkin laughing, like I was just a dare to try. But your fingers on my waist that day left fireworks I couldn't hide. I slapped you, but my hands were shaking.
Hello there again. My name is Nora Bellamy, and what you're about to dive into is episode 3 of my story at Crimson Heights. If you want to feel every heartbeat, every tear, every scary, hopeful step of this messy, beautiful fall, hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next. They say falling in love is like drowning. I always thought that was just something people said to sound deep. Then I stood at the edge of Thornwood Lake with Marissa Van Heusen, the cold wind cutting through my wet clothes, and I finally understood. Sometimes you jump it on purpose. Sometimes someone pulls you under. And sometimes you walk in slowly, knowing the water is deep and dark, but you go anyway because the person waiting in it makes you feel alive for the first time. 2 weeks passed like a dream I was afraid to wake from. Every single day after the last bell, Marissa found me. She waited by the bus stop or by the side doors, hands in her pockets, looking nervous in a way that made my stomach flip. We walked together, just walked and talked. She told me about boarding schools in Switzerland, how the rooms were always cold and the other girls whispered about her father's money like it was a disease. I told her about my dad's accident, how the hospital smelled like bleach and worry, how he still smiled even when he couldn't feel his legs anymore. We talked about music she loved, soft indie songs I had never heard, and books I carried everywhere. She listened like every word mattered. Like I mattered. Other people noticed. Holly stood across the parking lot every afternoon, arms crossed, face dark and stormy. Her green eyes followed us like knives. Alexis spread whispers. It's just charity work. Marissa's doing a social experiment. The scholarship girl thinks she's special now. The words stung, but Marissa never looked back at them. She only looked at me. And slowly, I stopped caring what they said too. Thursday afternoon, I was on field maintenance duty, mowing the grass along the back athletic fields. The mower was loud and smelled like gasoline. Grass clippings stuck to my uniform and my tights. I hated this job most. Sweaty, dirty, forgotten, but it paid part of my stipend. I pushed the mower in straight lines, sweat dripping down my back. When I finished and shut off the engine, I looked up. Marissa sat alone on the bleachers overlooking the practice fields. No entourage, no phone, just her, and a cigarette between her fingers. My stomach dropped. Marissa never smoked. I had heard stories, girls at parties offering her one, her laughing and saying no. Always no. Something was wrong. I left the mower and walked over. Grass stuck to my shoes. My uniform smelled like cut grass and motor oil. I climbed the bleachers quietly. She didn't hear me at first. You know you should be in class, I said softly. And not smoking here. She startled, so hard the cigarette almost fell. She turned fast. Her gray-blue eyes were red-rimmed, swollen. She had been crying. It's none of your business, blonde pumpkin, she said. But her voice cracked like thin ice. She looked away quick, took a sharp drag. Smoke curled up. Please go away. I didn't move. I sat down a few feet away, close enough to talk, far enough not to crowd her. What happened? I asked. She stayed quiet a long time. The cigarette burned down between her shaking fingers. My father called, she finally said. Her voice was small. He's not coming to parents' weekend. Again. Business in Singapore. She laughed, but it sounded broken. His assistant sent me an apology email. His fucking assistant, Nora. She took another drag. Her hands trembled. I told him about you, she whispered. I thought, maybe if he knew I was happy here. Really happy. Making real connections. But he just said, "That's nice, darling," and hung up. My heart cracked open for her. I reached over slowly. took the cigarette from her fingers. She let me. I stepped it out on the bleacher step. Hey, I said. You don't need this. She looked at me then. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Eyes raw. Vulnerable in a way I had never seen. Not the perfect Marissa Van Heusen everyone feared. Just a girl who hurt. My mom used to smoke, she whispered. When things got bad. When the doctors said there was nothing more they could do. I swore I'd never, but sometimes I just want to feel close to her. I didn't know what to say, so I just sat there. Let her breathe. She stood up suddenly. Wiped her eyes hard. She swayed, dizzy from the cigarette, from crying, from barely eating lunch lately. I caught her arm. Steadied her. We were face to face. Close enough to feel each other's breath. My heart hammered loud in my ears. Come with me, she said. Voice urgent. Right now. Skip your last period. Skip mine. Just come with me. Marissa, I can't just. Please. Her hand found mine. Cold fingers. Desperate. I don't want to be alone today. And I want to show you something. Something real. I had never skipped class. Never. My scholarship. My record. My whole future balanced on perfect attendance. But looking at her, devastated, pleading, beautiful, I felt something shift inside me. Okay, I heard myself say. Okay, let's go. Her smile broke through the tears like sunlight after rain. Her Mercedes smelled like leather and new money. I felt small in the passenger seat. Grass stains on my uniform, tights dusty. She drove fast but careful. We left Westchester, headed into the countryside. Trees turned gold and red around us. She played soft indie folk music, sad guitars, quiet voices. My hands twisted in my lap. Where are we going? I finally asked. Somewhere my mom used to take me, she said. Eyes on the road. Before she got sick, she'd sneak me out of school. We'd go to this lake. My father never knew. She glanced at me. No one knows. Just you now. We pulled up to a small private lake. Thornwood Lake. Mirror-smooth water. Autumn trees blazing around it. No trespassing signs everywhere, but Marissa parked without hesitation. My father owns the land, she said. He forgot about it years ago. We walked to the shore. The air smelled like pine and cold water. Golden leaves floated on the surface. It's beautiful, I breathed. Marissa kicked off her shoes. It's freezing in October, but my mom and I always went swimming anyway. She said cold water wakes you up to being alive. Before I could answer, she started unbuttoning her jacket, pulled off her shirt. My face burned. Marissa, what are you? She was already down to her bra and underwear. Long legs, smooth skin. She waded in, turned back, grinned wildly through red eyes. Come on, blonde pumpkin. Are you brave or not? Every sensible part of me screamed no. Scholarship, rules, cold. But I thought about my dad, how he said I saw the world, clearly. How Marissa had been real with me for 2 weeks. How short life could be. I stood, hands shaking, unzipped my skirt. Black tights underneath, always, to hide my thick thighs, my stretch marks. I started to wade in with them on. Nora, Marissa called. Soft, serious. You don't have to hide with me. Our eyes met across the water. Slowly, I peeled off the tights. Legs pale, full, marked. I had never shown them to anyone. I walked into the water in my bra and underwear. Arms crossed over my stomach. The cold hit like knives. I gasped. Marissa swam closer, shoulder deep, teeth chattering. Water droplets clung to her lashes. You're beautiful, she said. And I could tell she meant every word. You don't have to say. I mean it. She reached under the water, took my hand, fingers cold but sure. When I'm with you, I don't have to be perfect. I can just be. We floated there, hands linked. Then she splashed me. I laughed, real, surprise laughter, and splashed back. We played like kids, shrieking, laughing, water flying. The cold washed away the heavy things. Marissa dove under, popped up right in front of me. Black hair slicked back, water streaming down her face. So close. Nora, she said softly. Can I kiss you? For real this time. Not for anyone else. Just for us. My heart felt too big for my chest. I nodded. Barely a movement. She cupped my face with cold, wet hands. Kiss me. Soft. Questioning. Reverent. Nothing like the gym. This was slow. Careful. Full of everything we hadn't said. My hands found her waist. Pulled her closer in the water. Our bodies pressed together under the surface. Cold lake. Warm mouths. We kissed like we were the only two people left in the world. The autumn air bit our skin, but our lips stayed warm. When we broke apart, both breathless, she pressed her forehead to mine. I'm falling for you, she whispered. I'm terrified, but I'm falling. Me too, I managed. We got out eventually, shivering hard, teeth knocking. She grabbed an emergency blanket from her trunk. We wrapped it around both of us, sat in the car with heat blasting, pressed close for warmth, talking, really talking. She admitted she was failing calculus. I offered to tutor her. She told me her mom died of cancer when she was 12, how she hadn't let anyone close since. I told her about my dad, his strength, his quiet sadness. We traded secrets like precious things. As the sun set, she drove me home. When we pulled up to my small apartment building, she didn't look uncomfortable. She just smiled. Can I see you tomorrow? She asked. Yes, I said, and I meant it with everything I had. I walked inside, clothes still damp, lips still tingling. Dad was waiting by the window in his wheelchair. He saw my face and knew something had changed. Nora Bean. I sat beside him, told him everything. The lake, the cold water, the kiss, the falling. He listened, no judgment. When I finished, he asked, Do you trust her? I thought about it. I want to. He nodded. Then take it slow. But Nora, don't let fear make you miss out on love. I almost did with your mother. Nearly lost the best thing in my life because I was scared. I kissed his forehead, went to my room, fell asleep with my phone on my pillow. Marissa's goodnight text glowing on the screen. Today was the best day I've had in years. Thank you for jumping in the lake with me. In every way. M. Coming out is supposed to be your choice. Your moment. Your terms. You decide when the door opens and how wide. But at Crimson Heights Academy, where gossip moves faster than the fastest Wi-Fi signal, Marissa Van Heusen, and I learned the hard way that sometimes the door doesn't just open. Sometimes it gets ripped off the hinges, whether your heart is ready or not. For one perfect week we lived in a bubble, so beautiful I almost believed it could last forever. Every morning Marissa waited at my locker before the first bell. She leaned against the metal like she belonged there, gray blue eyes lighting up the second she saw me. She'd slip her hand into mine for a quick squeeze when no one was looking. We walked to class together. Her long strides slowed to match mine. Our fingers brushed the whole way. At lunch, she dragged me to her car instead of a shed. We sat in the leather seats with the windows cracked, sharing sandwiches she bought from the fancy cafe in town. She fed me bites of croissant. I laughed when crumbs fell on her skirt. We texted until 2 in the morning. Silly memes, song lyrics, secrets we hadn't told anyone else. In empty stairwells we stole kisses. Quick at first, then longer, deeper. Her lips soft and warm against mine. Her hands in my hair, my back against the cold wall. Every touch felt like fire and safety at the same time. Chevron caught me smiling at my phone one afternoon. She pulled me aside in the hallway. You know you can't hide this forever, right? She said. Someone's going to notice. And when they do, it's going to be loud. I know, I whispered. I'm just not ready for the fallout. She hugged me tight. I've got your back. Always. But be careful, Nora. Holly's been watching. Holly had noticed. She followed us like a shadow. I caught her in corners of hallways, phone raised, snapping photos when Marissa touched my hand or when we laughed too loud. She sent them to her lacrosse group chat. I never saw the messages, but I heard the whispers. Van Heusen slumming. This is getting pathetic. She was building something, collecting proof, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Wednesday after school, we had calculus tutoring in the library. Private study room, glass door, supposed to be focused on derivatives and limits. Marissa sat across from me, textbook open, but her eyes kept drifting to my face. I was explaining chain rule, pencil moving fast across the paper. When I looked up, she was staring. You're beautiful when you're teaching, she said quietly. My cheeks burned. Focus on the problem. You are the problem, she teased. Her voice dropped low. I can't concentrate when you're this close. She leaned forward, closed the distance. Her lips found mine, soft at first, then hungry. My hands went to her face. Hers slid to my waist under the table. The calculus book slid forgotten to the floor. We kissed like we were starving. Her tongue brushed mine. Heat pooled low in my stomach. I forgot where we were. Forgot the glass door. Forgot everything except her taste, her breath, the way she sighed into my mouth. We didn't notice the shadow that paused outside. Didn't hear the camera click. Friday morning I arrived at 6:30 for maintenance. The campus was still dark and quiet. I unlocked the side door, pulled out the cart. Then I saw her. Marissa stood on the steps outside the main building. 2 coffees in her hands. Steam rising in the cold air. She had woken up at 6 just to meet me. Her black hair was loose. No makeup. Just her. Beautiful. I walked over. She handed me a cup. Extra cream. No sugar. Like you like. We sat on the cold steps. Watched the sky turn pink and gold. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Her hair smelled like vanilla and sleep. I want to tell people, she said suddenly. About us. My stomach dropped. Marissa! I know you're scared. I am too. But I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of pretending you're not the best part of my day. I stared at the sunrise. Heart pounding. What if they hurt us? They might, she said. But I'd rather face it with you than keep pretending I'm someone I'm not. That afternoon between 4th and 5th period, the hallway was packed. Friday chaos. Lockers slamming. Laughter. I was at my bottom locker when the crowd suddenly parted. Marissa walked toward me. Purposeful. Terrified. Determined. Her gray-blue eyes locked on mine. My heart slammed against my ribs. Marissa, what? She took both my hands in front of everyone. The hallway went dead silent. You could hear breathing. Signora Bellamy, she said, voice shaking but clear. I know this is terrifying. I know we wanted to keep this quiet, but I can't anymore. I don't want to hide you. I don't want to hide us. I froze. Every eye on us. Holly in the corner, face twisted with rage. Alexis recording on her phone. Chevron at the end of the hall, worried but nodding. Marissa kept going. Will you be my Valentine? Officially. Publicly. No more hiding. It was November. Valentine's was months away. But I understood. She was asking, will you take this leap with me? My mind raced. Scholarship. Invisibility. Safety. Everything I had built to protect myself. But then I looked at her eyes. Vulnerable. Hopeful. Scared. And I remember the lake. The cold water. Her confessions. The realness we had fought for. I took a breath. Yes! The hallway exploded. Some cheered. Surprisingly many. Whistles. Claps. Whispers turned to shouts. Holly threw her books down. Stormed off. Alexis stopped recording. Looked shocked. Marissa grinned. So wide it must have hurt. She pulled me close. Kissed me right there. Quick. Chaste. But undeniable. Her lips soft. Mine trembling. When we broke apart, she whispered, "Thank you for being brave." I whispered back, "We're both idiots." We laughed, still holding hands. The bell rang. The crowd dispersed slowly. Chevron walked up, shook her head. "Well, you two just became either the most romantic couple or the biggest scandal in Crimson Heights history." "Maybe both," Marissa said. She slid her arm around my waist. Held me close. By the end of the day, the whole school knew. My phone exploded. Texts from classmates I barely knew. "That's so sweet. You two are cute." Anonymous numbers, cruel words, slurs, threats. But there were surprises too. 3 other queer students found me quietly. Thanked us for being visible. Said they felt less alone. The Gender Sexuality Alliance president invited us to join. Even some popular girls smiled genuinely. The darkness came fast. Someone spray-painted Dyke on my locker. Big red letters. The principal called us in. Promised an investigation. Holly started a whisper campaign. Marissa's only dating her for woke points. Rebellion against her dad. She'll drop her soon. I overheard girls in the bathroom. She's corrupting Marissa. She trapped her. It hurt. Deep. But Marissa never wavered. When someone made a comment in earshot, she stepped in front. defended me. Loud. Proud. She's mine, she said once. And I'm hers. Deal with it. That night she took me to dinner in the city. Fancy restaurant. Candlelight. I wore a dress chevron let me, simple black, hug my curves. Marissa wore slacks and a silk blouse. She looked breathtaking. We held hands on the table. She posted a photo to Instagram. A smiling, hands linked. Caption. My Valentine, early and officially. At Nora B 2 hearts. It got 2,000 likes. 400 comments. Mixed. She didn't care. After dinner she asked, "Can I meet your parents?" Officially. I was nervous, but I said yes. We drove to the apartment. Mom was home, rare Friday off. Dad in his wheelchair by the window. I introduced Marissa as my girlfriend. A beat of surprise. Then Dad smiled warm. "Nice to meet you, Marissa." Mom was cautious, protective, but Marissa asked about Dad's accident. Listened. Really listened. Asked about construction. Marissa's father built skyscrapers. Marissa didn't flinch at the small space. The worn couch. She sat on the floor by Dad's chair. Talked like they were old friends. When Marissa offered to connect Dad with rehabilitation programs her father's company sponsored, Mom teared up. "You don't have to." "I want to," Marissa said. "Your daughter means everything to me." Walking her to her car later, I stopped under the streetlight. "You didn't have to offer to help my dad." She turned, faced me. "Nora, I love you." My breath caught. First time either of us said it. "I know it's fast," she continued, "but I've never been more sure. You make me want to be real. You make me want to be better. I love you." Tears filled my eyes. "I love you too." We kissed under the streetlight. Soft, deep, full of everything we had fought for. As her car pulled away, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened it. Enjoy it while it lasts. Pumpkin. She'll get bored. They always do. Holly. I deleted it, but a small seed of doubt planted itself in my chest anyway. Thank you so much for watching my story until the end. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for the next hot series. Your support helps me create more stories like this and means more to me than you know. I would also love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment and tell me what you felt while watching. Thank you again for being here, and I hope to see you in the next story.